Sawa.
Haya, sisi
Hassan Alake, you can actually unmute and then you pray for us. Hassan, if you can hear me, let me request, where's Hassan? Hassan, you can unmute, and then you pray for us, Hassan.
Okay, members, let us pray. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Hassan. You are from which county, Hassan?
Isiolo.
Thank you so much, Hassan Halake from Isiolo, for starting us off with a word of prayer, I am Stephen Choge, working with Kenya Education Management
Okay.
Institute, trainer and a coordinator, Tana River, Garissa County, Wajir County, and Mandera County. But all in all, we are working together here as a team. And I want to appreciate each one of us who has actually joined us for this very important session. And remember, this is a very important session in that it is an area that will actually unlock quite a good number of areas that no other person may actually understand. Something that can hinder a student not to achieve his or her dream just because of issues to do with what is going on in our body, emotional issues, and any other thing. Very important session, colleagues. I know with us here, we also have uh, our system admin, and I want to give him chance to say hi to you. Elfis, over to you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for choosing KME for this training session. Hoping you have a good session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Elfis. Elfis is our system administrator, and I know he has actually interacted with almost all of us here. Because every time we are talking about the system is down, the system is not working, registration, everything, password and everything, this is the man who is actually behind that, together with the other team, but he's now he's the head or the head of that section. Thank you so much, Elfis, for the good work that you're actually doing. And I know quite a good number of them have been asking, even they've been calling you even very late. Some of you are actually calling him even at midnight, very early in the morning at 3. Elfis is actually receiving some of your calls, but he's doing good work. But I want just to request that beyond 8, please let us just allow him also to rest. Let's also allow him to join his family again. So thank you so much, Elfis, for the good work that you are doing. And I don't know if the other of my colleagues, Dr. if you are in, so that you can say hi to our colleagues, to our participants before we start. Dr. Grace, if you are in.
Not yet, Mr. Choge.
Not yet. Emily Kuto, if you are in.
Is also on her way.
She's also on her way. Thank you so much, team. But I know they will be joining us shortly. Even as we are doing that, also I can see the numbers coming up. I don't know if you have anything to tell our participants concerning the etiquette Elfis on how to use the Zoom. How to use the Zoom, because when we started, I saw somebody without a microphone. I don't know. Yes, I can see one of our participants, Kimani Kamwati, without a microphone. Elfis, over to you so that you can actually assist our brother Kimani without a microphone. Elfis? There is
Yes, Mr.
somebody,
Choge.
yes, there is somebody by the name Kimani, and he has no microphone.
Let me check.
Yes, I think Kimani has actually left so that he can actually join. There is another one. I think the others are okay. They are now okay. Let's wait for Kimani to join again. So I know so the numbers we have right now, there is somebody who has raised up his hand. Patrick? Patrick, you can unmute. Patrick, you have
Hello,
raised
good
up.
evening.
Yes.
Yes, can you get me?
Good evening,
Can you
Patrick.
get me? Yes, thank you, sir. We are just about to start, huh?
Yes.
Was Kaido, are you getting me?
Yeah, we are getting you.
Oh, just before we start, I was kind of requesting whether we can have these notes in such a
Mhm.
way that one can generate them into a hard copy that can easily be, you can easily peruse. That's my
Mhm.
concern.
So that is your concern. Patrick
Yeah.
is requesting that he gets these notes and then you generate them to hard copy. Patrick, move
Yeah.
away from hard copies. Let's go
Okay.
digital. Let's go digital. Amy has actually made it even more easy.
Mm-hmm.
This learning is actually with you every time, every minute. Masomo
Mm-hmm.
mikononi.
Masomo
Even when you
mkononi.
are driving, ukiwa jam unaweza ingia kidogo uangalie notes. When you go
Okay.
digital.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you get tired under the tree, you just go back and read.
Okay,
We
okay,
have
okay.
these notes in our LMS, and we want actually to encourage everybody.
Okay.
Let us run away from the hard copies. You will go printing roughly 300
Uh-huh.
pages at a cost
Wow.
of 5 shillings or 10 shillings. That comes to
Uh-huh.
300, almost 3,000 shillings. So let's go
Uh,
digital. Yeah.
that's
All
okay.
the
It's
notes,
okay.
everything is actually on our LMS. Yes, there's
Okay.
somebody else. I did want actually to start with the concerns, but let me just call
Uh-huh.
them. James
Yeah.
Onguti,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
and I have quite a good number of concerns. John Kimboy, the last one before I start.
Yes.
John, yes. John has already muted again. James, let me still give you another last chance. Just unmute. Yes. James Onguti and John Kembo, you can now lower your hands. You can now lower your hands. Daktari, are you in with us? Daktari Grace, are you in?
Almost there.
Almost there. Almost there. So, colleagues, allow me to start our session by actually introducing this very important session. I may not actually share my screen, but remember this is an area that we will actually handle, and the module is module 8 on guidance and counseling. On guidance and counseling. And I just want to mention something that I was asked today by one of our participants who actually wanted to know the difference between the guidance and counseling for DELM course and the other career guidance and counseling and the other module or the course that takes 2 years. They are very different. Very different. Very different, colleagues. Actually, Kemi has almost 4 courses on guidance and counseling. One of them is called career guidance. And then we have professional guidance and counseling, and I know Dr. Grace will actually mention this one here before we end. And then we have another guidance and counseling for teachers. That is a short course that is specifically on career, which is more or less the same as the OCS, Office of Career, but they are also different. So please, they are different. Don't say I've done the diploma and I've done a unit on guidance and counseling. They are very different. Now, the area we are actually discussing today is a very important area that we will actually get even the insights to know the difference between guidance and counseling. And we will actually try to break it even into 2, so that we will have guidance and then we will have counseling. And you will get to have a clear understanding of the 2 areas that we will actually discuss. It is a very wide area, very wide area. And when you look at the guidance and counseling, a friend of mine told me that guidance and counseling has a very strong pillar where one has to understand the past, clear understanding of your past, or even your counselor must actually have a clear understanding of your past, a very clear understanding of the present as far as life is concerned. And then at the same time, focusing on the future where we are actually heading to. And I know the person who will take us through this area here will even bring it out even more clearer. A very important session as far as teaching and learning is concerned in our institution. Because you'll find that even a slight mistake of ignoring the part of emotions, the part of challenges, the part of how friendly an institution is, the part of health issues, then be sure these learners are going to miss out on their target of achieving their objective of what they want to be. So this is an area that will actually focus on advice. It will also deeply talk about the help that these learners are given. It will also touch on the tips on how to circumvent some issues. It will also talk deeply on the assistance that we are giving these learners. And then the guidance part of it, which is we can say the main thing in this unit, guidance. And then also very important is the support. I can hear somebody talking from the background. Daktari, are you in? Or Emily, are you in? So these are some of the areas that we will actually handle. And you'll find that this module has 7 units that we will cover. But the module outlines, number 1, is that we will look at the introduction to guidance and counseling. Mark that, introduction to guidance and counseling. As far as management of teaching and learning in our institution is concerned. And then we will also look at the basic, mark again that word that I've used, basic counseling skills. Basic counseling skills. And thirdly, discipline in learning institution. This one here, I don't need even to explain. Such that there is no day we can talk about a school, we can talk about the learning institution, and we don't touch about the discipline. Somebody will say, it is a very good school. The learners are very disciplined. The challenge with school B is the discipline of the learners. To mean that it is an area that determines a lot as far as achievement of the main objective that the Constitution is talking about, that the Education Act is talking about, that these learners must achieve quality education. So we cannot talk about quality when issues to do with indiscipline or discipline has a negative trajectory. Thirdly or fourthly, adolescence growth and development. It is a challenge, we all know. How do we handle these learners who are at that stage? And unfortunately, you'll find that the learners will actually get to this stage at a different time. We have others who will actually have come to this one here early. Others will have even late. But these are the people we are supposed to be handling in our learning institution, the people we are handling in our institutions. And remember, they are the main clients, the reason why we are in these institutions. Then we also come to crisis and trauma intervention. How do we handle this crisis? What remedy are we offering when there is that trauma? Then we are also equipping you on how to equip these learners with the skills also do peer counseling. But remember, this is an area that I told you when we started that as as much as we are talking about the students, there is a component that will even assist us as staff. I, as a staff member, together with my staff member. And finally, we will talk about the career guidance. How do we show them or strengthen what they want to be, or give them a positive guidance that if you do this one here, I can see you are good in this. And this is the part that has actually disadvantaged most of us Kenyans, because it is an area that was actually lacking, and especially in the previous curriculum. But thank God that even in this other curriculum, we are seriously focusing on guiding these learners. And that is why I told you this area of guidance and counseling is very important, very important. Elfis, alert me when Daktari comes in. So that is what we will be actually looking at. The 7 areas: introduction to guidance and counseling, basic counseling skills, discipline in learning institutions, adolescents, crisis and trauma interventions, peer counseling, and then career guidance. And as I told you about the starting point, you look at the past, you're also looking at the present, and then we are actually focusing on the future. Because it is guidance, and counseling. Who is this that we are guiding? And who is this that is actually guiding? And why are we doing this? It means we are actually redirecting. We are giving that support. We are ensuring that this person doesn't actually get lost. And that is why we need to understand the past. Then we need now to know what is the situation, how is the situation at this particular time? How is the situation at this particular time? Then we are also talking about the future. Where are we supposed to move to? Where are we supposed to get to? And that is why I want us actually to discuss some of these areas. And if Daktari has not come in, let me actually try and share. Let me share the screen. I can see Damaris has already actually mentioned that. So I believe we are there. Elfis, confirm to me from your end if everyone can see my screen. If everyone can see my screen.
It's visible. Proceed.
Thank you. So, and that is why I talked about the past. I also talked about the present, and we will also talk about the future. Very important because we are giving direction. Now, when you look at the area that we are talking about, guidance and counseling, I told you we will have 2 areas. Number 1, we look at guidance. What is guidance? What is guidance? Then what is counseling? And we are saying that it's very important to understand that guidance is that assistance that is made available by a competent counselor. And if I were you, I would have actually written down competent counselor to an individual of any age. Note that it is of any age, not only the learners in our learning institution. And that is why I said it is an area that can benefit us even as teachers and non-teaching staff, teachers and the students, but the focus is we want to ensure that these learners achieve their objective. So it is of any age to help him direct his own life, develop his own point of view, make his own decisions, and carry his
Mr.
own.
Choge,
Yes.
Mr. Choge, I'm sorry to cut you short.
Yes, Elvis.
Dr. Grace has joined us. Thank you.
Daktari, karibu sana. And let me give chance Daktari to say hi. I don't know if Madam Emily has also joined us.
Good evening, colleagues.
Good evening, Daktari.
I'm happy to be in your class, Choge. Continue.
Thank you so much. I don't know if Emily is around.
Yeah, she should be joining shortly.
Shortly.
Yes.
So we are talking about guidance, and I've said this is the assistance made available by a competent counselor, and not only to a young person, but people of all ages. And the objective is to guide that person, direct his own life, develop his own point of view, make his own decisions, and carry his own burden. So it is actually a process of helping every individual through his own efforts to discover and develop his potentials for his personal happiness and social usefulness. The main thing is for one to get into the right path, to have life that we can say it is worth, to be somebody who is actually doing his or her work uprightly, and that which is accepted. Now, let us look at what you know about guidance and counseling. What is the difference between the two? And let me hear from you, our dear participants. Just raise up your hand, and then you can actually say something on this one here before I usher in Daktari to take us through. Yes, Maureen. Maureen, you can unmute.
Okay, guidance. Okay, first of all, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Guidance is now that assistance that is made available, as we have just talked in the definition, and then now the counseling. The counseling part of it now is the process whereby you help that individual to be able to direct his own life and develop his own point of view. The way you talk to that person, the way you enable that person to come up now with the direction in life, because now with the guidance you are directing this person on what to do, which way to take. And now the counseling part is where now you engage this person in let's say maybe conversation, or in a way that the person will now come up with his own way of decision making and making the right choice in life.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Maureen. Now I want to move on to the next question. And I think there's somebody who has already raised up his hand. What do you want to learn about in guidance and counseling? Damaris, what do you really want to learn in guidance and counseling? Damaris, can see your hand is up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First, my hand was up to give the difference between the guidance and counseling.
Very good. Go on.
To add on what Maureen has said, I think guidance is more of giving advice on a situation, while counseling is whereby you equip a learner ama a person with skills on how they're going to cope up with their life situations. For example, if a person comes to you that he or she doesn't have money, you don't give them money, but you give them skills on how they're going to acquire that money. So I tend to think that guidance, you give them on advice on a situation, while counseling is more you equip them with skills on how to come out of a situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francis. I can see you have raised up your hand. Francis, you can unmute.
Yes, thank you. I think guidance is all about you just show this person this is the way. Then counseling is more deeper. Apart from showing that person a way, you help that person find the way.
To find the way. How about what do you really want to learn in guidance and counseling, Francis?
Me, I want to specific learn how to help maybe in fact this maybe the younger generation, the younger adults, how to become self-aware, to understand themselves, their goals, and achieve their full potential.
Thank you, Francis. Francis has said that he wants to help his or her clients to achieve their objective. Let me give it to one person, Said, and then I'll usher in Daktari. Said, you can unmute. Said Kuraja, unmute, and then you talk. Said, just unmute and then you talk. Said can't actually hear you. Patrick, and then I welcome Daktari.
Yes, good evening once again.
Good evening.
Yes, as for me, I would
Yes.
like to be equipped with more tactful ways of approaching. We have a student with various vices. More tactful ways of approaching their problems, situations from disaffection of families, those from drug and substance abuse. How these approaches, I need more of the skills and approaches. That's what I want to learn more.
Thank you so much, Patrick. What I got from you is that you want even more insights on how to handle the emerging issues that is actually with us. The drugs issues, boy-girl-child relationships, which are very unhealthy, and many others. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And team, allow me to usher in Daktari. Dr. Grace, over to you.
Thank you, Choge. You can take down the slides. So, colleagues, I was enjoying the lesson, and Mr. Choge does not want me to continue with enjoying the lesson. I know you have a lot that you can talk about. You've done a lot in guidance and counseling. I know the reason as to why he has given me the work. I will not complain even when I know the reason.
Karibu.
And we will say that we have done quite something sizable. You know, when you're trying to distinguish between guidance and counseling, we are telling ourselves over what is it that we require. And from what you're talking about, many of us are saying guidance is about showing someone the way. It's about directing someone to where they need to go. And then there's also saying counseling is more therapeutic, requires contracting, requires us forming a relationship. And I can say that all that we were discussing is what is expected. And I know Mr. Choge has taken us through this. Yes, so these are the units that are there. So for the time that we have, you'll bear me witness that we cannot get this into details, but we will give a highlight as to all these 7 areas, because by the end of the day, you will go to the LMS and you will get this information in details. So this is just a discussion between you and I and Mr. Choge and Emily Kuto, just to look at it and tell ourselves what is required in all these, in all these. One, for this module is a requirement that we finish the module. It's a requirement we sit for the exam. It's a requirement that we get something out of it. Let it not just be a paper, just a karatasi tu ambayo tumesoma tukaandika. Let it be something that, and Choge has told us about the starting point. We need to have a starting point. We need to know where we are moving to.
Doctor, you can unmute.
Okay, I have. We are asking ourselves, what is it that we want to look at? We have seen what guidance is, but if you're saying it's about directing someone to where they want to go, it is also good for us to remember that you must be competent. Even in giving this information, you must be competent. Because someone of any age, they just need someone to point them to the direction they need to take. But they could be having an idea of where they want to go, but they do not know the direction. So you as a guide is to show them the direction. And they're able to discover their potentials in what they want to be working on. And the person who talked about counseling being more professional, dealing deeper with personal or psychological problems, you had haukuwa umekosea. Why? Because in counseling, we will need to contract with the person. We will need to form a relationship that is deep, that has confidentiality, that has a lot of respect, so that we are able to move on. And so in our schools, most of the times we do guidance. Even when we say that we do a lot of counseling, it's good to still remember a lot of the work we do with our learners is guidance, where we avail information to our learners, we avail resources, we talk to them, we talk about the experiences we have gone through, because we want to assist them make a decision. We facilitate them in making a decision. We want them to make a decision. We want to see, what does this decision mean for them? Meaning you and I, we have information, we have knowledge, and this is what we expose to our learners who come to us as we are guiding them. Remember, whether we are guiding or counseling, there is my way for me as the counselor. There is the way for you as the person. So how should a counselee look at it? A counselee should look at it in, you're looking for information because you want to move on. You know your way, you want to move on. Someone assists you to see the direction that your life needs to take. Why do we require this? Because there's disharmony. There is what I think as is what is needed to be done. It might not be so. And so for us to have my way and your way to move to the same direction, will require guidance from someone who is more exposed, from someone who has more experience, from someone who has read more than we have done. And when you're offering this guidance, be it to students, be it to the people we encounter in life, it's good to follow the following principles. And all of us know the dignity of the individual is supreme. That no matter what you do no harm to the person you are talking to. Respect them for the fact that they are human beings who have their own dignity. And that dignity that they have is supreme. Protect the person. And for you and I as teachers, we know sometimes it becomes very difficult to be able to protect our learners. And we find that we even trivialize their issues because sometimes when you look at them, they are very trivial. But for you and I is to remember, it's trivial to me, but to the person bringing it in for guidance, it's big. We call it the elephant in the room. Again, we also need to remember, you and I, each individual is different from one another. Kila mtu ni tofauti. All the people we are working with, even in our staff room, each individual is different. What does it mean? When you're giving guidance, we remember, even if it is group guidance, it should speak to a person at an individual level. It should speak to that learner at an individual level. If you're talking to your people in your church, whatever you're talking about, it should talk to the person at an individual level because we are all different. Again, it is all about the individual in their own social settings. And many times, that's what I tell people is, you may look at what is happening with people in their families, in the school, in the church, in the community. It's good to remember their social setting is what is important to them. And so you've got to understand their social settings. So for you and I as teachers, we need to understand the social settings of our learners. Where are they coming from? How is that locality? How is the community? What are the things that you're dealing with as a community? Again, attitude and personal perceptions form the basis of individual acts. People do what they do because of their attitude towards whatever it is that is with them or that is weighing them down. What is their attitude towards anything? If it's about learning, what is their attitude towards learning? How is their personal perception? How do they perceive their world from where they are coming from their locality, and from what is happening with them? And many times, including you and I, we act to enhance our perceived self. And look, the perceived self is what I perceive myself to be, not what you, the counselor or my teacher, think I am. It's what I perceive myself to be. If I'm a learner, I'm not performing well, I perceive myself as dull. Even if you have another feeling that I can do very well, that is how I perceive myself. And you got to help me if it is a negative perception. You as a teacher counselor, you help me enhance my perceived self. To enhance what is positive in my perceived self, not what is negative. And all of us have the ability to learn. We have an inborn ability to learn. We only, and for our learners, they only require someone to point them to the right direction. Otherwise, they have an inbuilt ability to learn. They can be able to make their choices. And these choices can lead to the direction that they require. They only need someone to point it out. Na hiyo ndo kazi ile tunakuwaga nayo kubwa. Pointing it out to someone that you have all this ability to do this. But many times, because of what we've gone through, because of the society, because of the community we are living in, we have that other perceived self of, I'm not able to, I cannot, I don't see direction. That's where you come in to offer this direction. And we require people who are professionals. And for us as teachers, we are professionals. In our own way, We are professionals and we are able to guide our learners. And so we need to bring in harmony. I'm not able to move on because of the disharmony. But now I would want to bring in harmony into my life, into my work, into my learning. And we need to keep on asking ourselves these questions. Who will lead me? What do I need? When? And why do I require this? Where do I get this help? How do I move on? And so even for you and I, it's all about bringing harmony into our lives. For our learners, it's just about bringing harmony into what they are working with. And so we just need to keep on reminding ourselves, every individual has talents. Hata yule ambaye haonyeshi dalili ya chochote kile, the person has talents. Hata wewe pale ulipo, you have your own talents. You might not even have identified them, but there are too many. There are very many. Same to our learners. It's also good to remember, excellence is possible, be it for you, be it for the learners. It's possible to have excellence. Again, the issues we have, the problems we are working with, the communities we are working under, the issues around the country, they prevent growth. Issues that we tell ourselves that they're there, they mar growth. And it all depends on how do we internalize the things around us, because that is what makes us now not be able to move. And again, wherever we are, and I'll not talk to the teachers, I'm not talking about the learners, we are talking about you and I as the teachers. That environment where I am has numerous opportunities. Only requires me to identify them. You might be very good at talking to people, just know, God-given talent, you are able to be the counselor of the people around you. That is an opportunity that you can grow with, that not every other person has it. You could be a person who is so good at the way you organize your work in school. That is an opportunity. See how you can use it to grow yourself further. In our school, in something else, I keep on reminding teachers now that we have so many opportunities of learning, of bettering yourself, going back to school. You don't have to actually walk to a classroom. Online learning is there. The environment provides numerous opportunities, and we should grant the same to our learners. It doesn't matter where they are, but we can grant the same to our learners. And so these are some of the guidance that we can offer in our school, and this one will not belabor, we will not go delve deeper into that, but it's good to know educational guidance, guide them. What is it that they require? We are in the new dispensation. How are they taking the competency-based education? Guide them. Explain to them. If you're in primary school, you already know junior school, they're just about to do the assessment, and it takes them to grade 10. At this point, educational guidance is important because they need to know what are the 3 pathways. And those pathways, what are the tracks? So what areas do I need to study in? So that by the time they're transitioning to senior school, you already know. If you're in secondary school, you already know next year, January 2026, we are receiving learners in grade 10. When they made the choices to come to that school, they understand the pathways and the tracks. What is your school offering? What combination would lead them to the world of work or tertiary education? It's to think about that. So educational guidance is very important, be it from grade 1, PP1. It is very important at every aspect as we're moving on. Vocational guidance. We know our learners. We know where they're good at. What is it that they can do? What are the skills? Check. Advise them on that. Then personal guidance, you and I, we are living in a world that is full of issues, full of problems. And so we need personal guidance. From the teacher to the learner, we all require personal guidance. And when you're going for personal guidance, it's not that we have many, we have issues that cannot be surmounted. But if it is making you not be able to move, if it is making you lag behind, if it is making you feel you're not seeing the way ahead, you require someone to talk to. In all the personal issues, someone might say they're small, they may say they're trivial, but you, they're not trivial if they're making you not move on. Even for the learners, they may look trivial, but if they're making them not to be able to move on, they require. So all that we'll see more of it in the units that follow. We'll see what more is expected of this. So I'll not belabor on this. I will not talk a lot about this. We have already said a lot about what counseling is all about, and even what counseling is not. What I only need to lay emphasis on is you form a relationship. You form a relationship. And this relationship that we form, we need to focus more on the client's feelings, the learner's feelings, or the person who has come to you. We need to focus more on their feelings, their thoughts, and the actions they need to take. Then empower. What is the person talking to you feeling? Let them label the feeling. Let them put a name on it. Let them put a tag on it, that feeling. What are your thoughts? Are they debilitating? Are they making you be able to move? What of some of the actions that have been taken in your life? Are they making you lag behind? Are they making you feel bad that you did them? Are they making you feel you're doomed? When you have all these feelings, someone needs to be empowered. You cannot empower someone if you've not formed a relationship. So for all the people we are talking to in counseling, as long as we have formed a relationship, we are able to move. If we do not form a relationship, we are not able to move. Because if there is no relationship, it means we are just two individuals who have met in the market and we are talking. We need to form a relationship so that we are able to empower each other, see how we can cope, explore options, not solutions, options. Because solutions are personal. It's more of the options that are there, such that I'm able to make a decision, make my own decision, and again, take responsibility for the actions and the decisions that I have taken. And all these will still be replicated in the institutions. Many of us here, we are normally called to go speak to the learners. And you're told, talk to so-and-so. We are kona matatizo mengi sana. Just form a relationship. If you're not able to form a relationship, guide. Just talk about, you can do this. If it's about studying, anza kusoma hivi. If it's about cleanliness, this is what you do. But if it is about a relationship in counseling, form the relationship. Contract with the person you're talking to. Because now from this module, you are a counselor. We want to look at it as a counselor. And if you're not a counselor, advise the counselors that you know in your school. They're supposed to facilitate change through the psychosocial support. What support are we giving learners? So facilitate change. Our learners have issues. Our learners, even the ones in PP1, they have issues. And even when we come up to Form 4, we still have issues. Let them be aware of their emotional problems. What is it that they are going through? What is the turmoil going through them? Check the age of the learners and the characteristics of learners at that age, and you will know. When you see them behaving the way they're behaving, there's something happening. Those at grade 9, we already know they are at what age, what are the emotional issues that they carry. Those joining senior school next year, know the age. What is it that they're going through? Our learners at Form 4 now, what would be the emotional issues that they're walking around with? They're looking around the country and they're wondering, hata hii kusoma kwingi ni ya nini? Tunaambiwa hakuna makazi huko nje. That's what they're telling themselves. So let them understand the emotional problems. And then you provide an enabling environment. Let the learners be able to talk to you. Because if they are able to talk to you, when you sit with them, you are able to craft the way forward. If they are discussing something negative, you're able to turn the negative tendencies into positive ones once we have a relationship. Because we are supposed to be bringing change to our learners. And all what we require in our schools is just our strategy of talking to the learners. Work with the other teachers and you see progress. Have a strategy. Work with one learner, you see progress. Have a strategy. Work with your fellow teachers and you see progress. Even with our significant others, it's good to know where are we? What is the strategy that we have that will make us be able to move on? And I think counseling, we have discussed this. You can deliver this at an individual level, at a group level, etc. You can deliver it in different ways. You as a counselor or you as a teacher, you can deliver these in different ways. It can be direct, where you explain to someone, this is what you do, this is what you're expected to do, or this is what you're looking at. It can be indirect. It can be in a group. And all these that you're offering understand the dynamics. Many times in our schools, you're offering group counseling. And many times it's not even group counseling, it's motivational speech. Someone comes, talks to a group about an issue that is happening. Like now we're having so many people coming to our schools to discuss the issues of transition. That is, if in primary, we are talking about transition to senior school. If you're in secondary, we are talking to our learners about passing KCSE and the world of work or tertiary education. All that is a motivational speech. And we normally do it in our schools as group counseling. Many times it's not group counseling. It's good we understand what is group counseling. And even in group counseling, how many people do you need to have? What are the issues you need to discuss? What of the learners who never talk? What of those who cannot expose their issues? And that's why many times advocate for one-on-one counseling, single counseling. And when you feel a group would want, a few members would want to be brought together, check each and every person where they are and whether they would want to talk about their issues when they are together with people. Directive, you, the counselor, you take the major role. And this is what we do mostly. I've been in the school system and this is what I know I did. And I did a lot of directive counseling where it is, I playing the major role of directing the learners of what they need to do, explain to them, interpreting what they need to know and advising how we need to move on. There's also non-directive where the learner now is the person, you let them understand they have the ability. And from there, come in to interject. Otherwise, let the counselee take the lead. Or you can combine both. You talk, you allow them to talk. You talk, you allow them to talk. That is eclectic. It is all about what is it that you do in your school. And when we learn more, we will see what is there. The reason as to why we have counseling, that one is already understood. And we need to remember that we need guidance and counseling programs in our schools. And I come back to ask, why do you feel we need that? On the chat, please. On the chat, why do we require guidance and counseling in our schools? On the chat, please. Why do you feel we require guidance and counseling in our schools? On the chat. Why do we require guidance and counseling in our schools? One, I am told, by Maureen Nanjala is because of challenges learners face, is true. And from Esther Muthungu, to help learners cultivate positive attitudes, it is true. Rachel Abuti, when we lose a colleague, Samuel Bwire, for behavior change. Maureen Najala tena, different personalities, it's true. Kimani Kamwati, to ensure the psychosocial well-being of learners under our care. We've got to ensure they are well. Juniors, yeah, we require it according to Francis Mzugu. We require it because of junior secondary learners. I think it is about junior school learners. They have so many of their issues. Started from the time they were at grade 6 and grade 7 happened to still remain in primary school. Those were many issues. Mark Cadenio says, to identify learner potential and help develop them. For Akinyi, the society is dynamic, true. Skitha Nyagoya, an alternative to corporal punishment. I think we'll get a chance to discuss something small about corporal punishment. Nicholas Okumu, to address concerns among learners and teachers. Hilda Mwasindo, we have learners coming from different backgrounds, true, diverse backgrounds. We need to understand them. Yurite Kerubo, to shape learners' behavior, true. JM, to be able to guide learners in emerging issues that may affect their performance. And there are many. The emerging issues vary from one community to the other. Jessica Sarange, to facilitate psychosocial support. Gideon Onyango, for psychosocial support to the students and teachers. Dorothy Gada, to help learners remain focused. Yasaki Nyanjui, enable the teacher to handle learners appropriately. etc. We require guidance and counseling programs in our schools because of very many things. All that you have discussed plus more. Very important. That is one area we need to put a lot of emphasis on in our schools. We need to lay a lot of emphasis in some of these areas. These are some of the likely responses that you got. You'll see them from the notes, and they are mostly what we have talked about. Solutions to deal with psychosocial problems that have been mentioned by very many people, solving their problems, coping different situations facing them, be it at home, be it at school. Instill discipline, shape their behavior, etc. We can do so much. We can have so many issues. And what are we saying in all that? We are saying we require guidance and counseling in our schools. And the challenges that require guidance and counseling in our schools, there are too many. We can't even, these ones that are put here are generic. They're there because the module needed to be out. But now for you as a teacher, check your community. What are the challenges? What are learners facing? What are teachers facing? What is the society facing? And you'll find that they are quite different. You may say an issue like the HIV and AIDS pandemic might not be a pandemic in your area. It's not an issue that you discuss a lot about. But you might find family problems are many. Violence against the children in your community could be many. Stress. Like now, we are already stressed. Mitihani ndo hii imefika. How could be an issue for guidance and counseling? Drug and substance abuse. That's one area we need to see. What is it that we require? And all these are important. All these are important. It's good to see what we need to do and know the components of counseling that we can have. As teachers in schools, we have so many issues that we can discuss with our learners, be it personal development, be it social emotional development, educational development, career and vocational development. All those are areas that we can be talking about. And we require every school to develop guidance and counseling plan. I will not even give you the generic one here. Do we have a plan? Just check from your school. Do we have a plan? How do we apply guidance and counseling in our schools? How do we go about it? So that's a key area that we need to check about, that we need to talk about. Do we have that plan? How do we develop it? Niambie kwa chat, how do we develop it? How do we develop it? How is it in our schools? How do we develop this? For Nancy Gadima, it is through training. So maybe training teachers for them to have that. And for Rose Chelimo, routine meetings with the learners. From there, you can tell, because there's no need of having a plan or a program that is generic. Let it speak to the issues around us, or where we are. Esther Budhugu, to start by identifying the areas that need guidance and counseling. Yes, identify that. Do an assessment. What are the issues we need to talk about? And I like Samuel Bwire. Starts with budgeting to know. We don't talk more about the money. But it's good. You've got to budget. War Akinyi, conducting assessment. Yes, we need to start from there. War. Francis Tubula, finding out the needs of the learners and teachers. Yes, what are the needs? You can't just say that we have guidance and counseling. We are starting a program, but we do not know what we have. Needs assessment got to be done. Observing, needs assessment. Open forums, yes. Jessica Sarange, we chose areas where learners, yes. Maureen Nejala, identify the challenge most learners face. It's true. Nimeona nyingine hapa by Jackson Gada through inviting Patrick Ihara according to students' needs. It can be based on individual cases. It is true. Leah Karaoke from issues from learners, areas of need. John Orwa, form a committee of relevant stakeholders. Thank you. Establish objectives. Identify the needs. Plan. Implement. You have concluded my lesson in that area. Thank you, John Orwa. So what are we saying? You and your school. Check what you need to plan for guidance and counseling. And that one takes care of our first unit that carries, a lot of gist of why do we need counseling? Why do we need guidance? What is the difference between guidance and counseling? Issues that we discuss. It gives you a background of some of the things that we need. But remember, having a guidance and counseling department that is working in our school helps a lot. And even administrators will tell you this one helps a lot. Basic counseling skills. Basic counseling skills. There are many. And we cannot finish them in this. But once you get to the LMS, you'll be able to see them. These are some of the key areas that we need to talk about. And I will discuss more on the first one, self-awareness. Why do I want to talk more on self-awareness? You are the teacher counselor. Who are you? Who are you? Back to the chat. Who are you? Who are you, my colleague? Niko kwa wall checking who you are. Haya. Maureen Nanjala is a teacher counselor. Good. War Akinyi is a trained teacher. Haya. Bwire naye ni facilitator. Esther Biti, yeye naye ni the teacher counselor. Martin Zuya ni a teacher counselor. Eunice Majira is a counselor. Ezekiel Mutua is an educator. Lucy Kivuva is a teacher counselor. Lucy Ogoagoa is a competent teacher counselor. I love the competent. Rachel Abuti is a guide. Teresa Magio is a confidant. Teresa, I would like to meet you. Melanie Nyaberi is a principal. Anne Oduya is, I am the significant other of who? I am. Thank you. Andrew Kimetu is a role model. Ezekiel Ogaya is a counselor. Abongo Yukabeth is an individual being. Hey, Abongo, this is deep. This is very deep. Kobe David is a facilitator and counselor. Gertrude Boyer is a guidance and counseling teacher. Jeremiah Musembe is a curriculum implementer. Wow. Priscilla Makame is a counselor. Irene Owino is a teacher counselor. And Patrick Kehara is a gentle, result-oriented professional who emphasizes on morals. Watch out, this is always an idea. What are we saying? Who are you? Anytime you wake up, ask yourself, are you self-aware of who you are? Who are you? When everything is taken away from me, I am a teacher. Yes, Grace Gatundu is a teacher. Grace Gatundu is a mother. She is a counselor. She is a psychologist. She is an educator. She is a curriculum implementer. But when all this is taken away from me, who am I? From all what the society has given me, when all that is removed from me, who am I? And we need to start that journey of self-awareness. What makes me who I am? What is the core of me? If you remove all those other things of I'm a teacher, I'm a mother, I am a wife, I am a husband, what remains? Who are you? And so it is very good for us to do that exercise of trying to understand ourselves, because as a teacher counselor, if you are aware of yourself, or as a counselor, if you are self-aware, that is what you give other people. Because you can only give what you have. You can only give what you are. So what is your self-concept? What is your ideal self? What is the real self? What is the you that people do not very many people know? Let's do that surgery, because that is what makes us be able to relate with people. What is emotional intelligence? How do you understand your feelings in relationship to other people? And because I said from the beginning when you were starting, I hope I said that we are all in the process of being. None of us has arrived. We are all in the process of being. What are you doing to work on that self-awareness? What is it that you're doing to understand yourself? Check the Johari's window and look at the 4 quadrants. Anza kujaza at your level, at your personal level. Try to understand yourself. And because we're in the process of being, all the mistakes we keep on making on the way, we keep on telling ourselves, yeah, we made those mistakes in the process of being. But remember, you only give people what you have. If you're bitter, you give bitterness. Even unknowingly, that's what you give people. If you're not aware of your feelings, you're not aware of the things that, of your emotions, you'll step on people's toes without knowing that you are stepping on them, because we work from a point of view of what I know. So what I am is what I give other people. Assignment ya kufanya tukiangalia, as we go, we read more, we see, are we self-aware? So that's one area we need to understand, we need to look at. As counselors, we need also to understand the stages of counseling. And in schools, it can be very difficult to have these stages as expected. Because we need to have the first stage, contracting, your initial meeting with a person. How do you make them want to talk to you? You can go, you wanted to talk to someone. The moment you reach there where that person is, you look at the person, hey, you just say, na kile nilikuwa nimekuja kusema nimejiwekea. Contracting. The initial stage of contracting is very important. That is what makes one know whether they will sit with you or not. Whether they will be received by you or not. Whether they will tell you what has brought them, or they will lie so that they can get away from where you are. And so the initial stage is very important. The contracting stage is very important. And even for you as a counselor, you check a lot from the person whom you're talking to. You check their entry behavior. You can tell someone who has come to talk, someone who needs to talk to you, and also someone who doesn't want to see you, or someone amekuja sababu ametumwa. I remember in our schools, this is what happens. A learner is caught in an issue. And once they are caught in an issue, what do? They go to the disciplinary committee. What does the disciplinary committee say? Aende kwa guidance and counseling. So the learner comes to your office and tells you, nimeambiwa nije. Is that someone who's come for counseling? Someone who's come for a letter so that they can go back to class? So from there you can know from their entry behavior, whether you want to contract with them or not, or you just give the letter of saying, give so-and-so a chance to be back to class as we see how to go to handle the case. Others will just come and tell you nothing. Other issues, after you listen to your learners, they are not issues of counseling, they're issues of medication. You are not a medic. Refer. So all the stages we have in counseling, from the contracting stage to the final stage where we terminate, before we reach that level, you will know whether that person has come in for counseling, whether you are equipped or not. And when you're not equipped, don't belabor going through with a case that you've been brought. If you cannot handle it, let it go. Refer to somebody else, either someone who is more skilled than you are, or even seek help from the administration to see if it is a medical case, whether you can take someone. You cannot counsel someone who is unwell, someone who is hallucinating. You need a psychiatrist so that you can give a diagnosis that says where one is supposed to be. And so you also need to know the counseling skills that you need to use. And there are many. The skills are many. We cannot finish them today. Even if we were to go through them, we will not finish, but there are many. The skills are many. But we will see all these key areas that we are checking in this area. We'll see how we can peruse through them faster, and we see what is it that we can do. This is what we have talked about. Whether you're conscious of your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, behaviors, attitudes, how do all these things affect you? You as a person. Are you conscious of your thoughts? When you're thinking, when you're thinking where you are now, are you conscious of your thoughts? And if you're conscious of your thoughts, can you put them down? Are you able to write them down? When you write them down, you are able to dispute the real thoughts that are affecting you, the real things that are affecting you, and the fake things, because the mind is very active. It will always tell you negative, 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 others positive. It all depends on your mind, your feelings, your beliefs, your behaviors. Remember, what you are thinking about, none of us can know. We can only know your thoughts through what you show us, your behaviors. Because what you think about brings about the feelings. And what you and I can see from the outside is the open behavior. It is what makes me say, maybe this is what the person was thinking all along. So let's get our thoughts, whatever we are thinking about and where we are. In the stages of counseling, when someone is coming, interviewing, as well as saying the initial contracting. interviewing, understanding where the person is coming from, understanding whether you require to offer guidance and counseling to those. Once you establish what has brought someone to you, you now go to the working phase. And from the working phase, you can know what you're going to do. You can discuss. You can see the theories that you need to use and how you're supposed to progress with your sessions. And when you reach the level you feel this is coming to an end, terminate and follow up. And in the area of termination, that's the one I'll say a bit more. In the area of termination, you can find that your counselee loves talking to you. So you need to prepare them early. When we were doing the initial contracting at the interviewing stage, give a guesswork of how many sessions you're going to have. So if I tell you you're going to have 5 sessions, by the 3rd session, remind me that, remember, we said we are going to have 5 sessions, and this is our 3rd session, meaning we have 2 more sessions to go, so that you cannot make the working phase work for you and also prepare your counselee for termination. Because there are so many things that can happen when you reach the level of termination. Mtu amekuzoea hataki kukuacha. They want to remain there. Others develop anxiety of termination. And so instead of dealing with the issues that you are dealing with, you start dealing with other issues that were not there when you're doing the interviewing. So talk about it. But those are the issues reasons that can make you terminate if you're not going through. If the person you've been counseling, no progress is being made, terminate. When the issues that have been brought to you are issues beyond your area, terminate and refer. If you realize that the feelings from the person that you're counseling, there is a feeling of maybe attraction to the person you're counseling, terminate. And attraction can be from the 2 of you. The counselor can also be attracted, just as the counselee can be attracted. Terminate. When the counselee also feels they don't want to continue with you, wanamaliza, that is termination. When the counselee dies, God forbid, it is termination. When the counselor dies, it's termination. And also, after you terminate, you can follow up. Talk about the follow-up from the first stage so that they know that you're not leaving them lost. They still can come back to you. And some of the skills you're talking about is attending, listening, reflecting, empathizing, probing. This is just generic. Attending. Being present. Being there. How would a counselee know that I'm there? How do I attend for someone to know that I'm there? Because you talk to people who make you feel that you're open and you're welcoming them. And this can be God from attending. Someone feeling, I am here for you. I'm listening to you. I am taking you as you come in. And it's a skill that you develop with time. Not easy, but it works very well. When someone fails, they're taken care of. They are respected. You're open to whatever they bring to you, and you don't judge them. Listening, there's listening and listening. There's listening with the 3rd ear. How would I know you are listening to me with the 3rd ear? Or you're listening to answer. There are those who just listen, and by the time you're finishing the sentence, they already have an answer. Meaning they were listening, give an answer. Give prompts that show you're listening. Give prompts, nod. Give eye contact, not staring. Rephrase what you have been told so that the person can know you're listening, and at the same time they can dispute if there's something you've not got well. Reflect on what is happening. Bring it back to them for clarification. Empathize. This is about getting into the shoes of the person. The shoes can be big, the shoes can be small. So it's like fitting into the wavelength of the person. Get into their wavelength. Let the person feel. You're feeling with them, not feeling for them. Once you feel for me, you are sympathizing. The moment you sympathize, I start seeing my problem must be very big. At a counselor, alishaga. So this issue must be big. Just fit yourself into their shoes, into their wavelength. Feel as they're feeling without compromising yourself. Probe. Probing helps. Probing is not about interrogation. You probe because you want to understand more so that you do not deal with a case that you've not understood. Probe. Find out more. Let it not look like an interrogation. Let them feel that they're in control of what is happening. And the person writing on my screen, please. It would be so good if you stopped. Again, as counselors, what are the qualities of a good counselor? There are many. There are many. Alice, stop writing. Alice Tumbo, stop writing on my screen. What are some of the qualities of an effective counselor? Empathy, hiyo tumesema, feeling with, tuning into their wavelength. Confidentiality. This is normally given when you're contracting. At the initial stage, before they start pouring what has brought them to you, let them know whatever they give you will remain between the two of you and will not leave the room. And when you assure someone of confidentiality, also give them the limits to confidentiality, because there are times you may break that confidentiality. For example, if the person you're talking to is planning to harm himself or herself or another person, let them know. If that is the case, you could disclose this to the authorities that deal with that. Let them know that. In a school situation, a learner comes to you in confidence that they are going to burn the school. You cannot keep that information to yourself because that can harm them and harm many other people. So offer them confidentiality and let them know the limitations of that confidentiality. And let them know what you discuss is between you. For the smaller young learners, let you get consent from the parents or from the head teacher or the principal. Because the head teacher and the principal, they have contracted with the parents that are taking care of the child. So you need to get that information, the consent, so that you do not deal with the learner who is very young and cannot make decisions. So they'll say, you went looking for information from a child and you had not been given consent by the parents. Being non-judgmental as a counselor, listen, do not condemn, no matter the case that's been brought to you. And many times, some of the cases that come to us are very difficult. Being non-judgmental. Attention, we talked about listening, giving full attention. Show interest. Let me feel you. Let me feel you working with you. Let me feel you here to help me. As a counselor, be honest. Respect the counselee, their culture, their beliefs. Even the stories they come giving you, listen to them, and sometimes you wonder, na hii sasa ni ya ukweli. But it is about them. It's not about you. Moving at their pace. If they want to talk, they'll talk. If they don't want to talk, they'll not talk. But when you realize that client comes to you, does not talk, first session, second session, terminate. Because you would not be sitting and saying nothing. If you have not been able to penetrate and they're talking to you, you can terminate or refer to another person. Control the sessions, because you can move from what brought us initially to other stories. Control the session. Stay focused on what you are dealing with, the issue at hand. Accepting their problems without showing surprise. Some cases can be so surprising, you become tongue-tied. You are a counselor. And when you find that you're not able to accept the client's problems, sit and check yourself. What are the issues of yourself you've not been able to deal with? Remember what I said from the beginning. You only give what you have. So if you have issues you've not dealt with as a person, once they are brought to you by another person, you will not be able to move on. Because you start reminding yourself, hata mimi niko na hiyo, hata hii inatendeka kwangu. So instead of working with the client, you'll start working on your issues, which will not work. Also allow them to express their feelings without judgment, without you getting in the way. If they want to cry, let them cry. If they want to express anger, let them express their anger, but take care of yourself. You could be dealing with a client who has anger issues, and the first thing they do when they are angry, they hit anything near them, including you. Take care of yourself. Always ensure as a counselor, you secure yourself first, etc. So check all that. Take care of each other as those carrots are taking care of each other. If they can hug, why can't we hug each other as human beings? My role as a counselor, there are many things that I do as a counselor in a school, and you do so many things as a counselor. What is your role? We just go back to the chat again. As a counselor, what is your role? I've gone back to the chat. Let me see your role. What is your role as a teacher counselor? What is your role? That's what I'm looking for your role. I have seen something here. Hii nitauliza. Hii ni ya Mark Kadenyo. Anauliza, do you hug a counselee? We are coming to that. We will see whether you hug or not. Owara Kiji is a guide. Hilda Mwasido is a model. That's the role of a counselor. Bernard Shitandi, instill values. Wycliffe Nyamanga, offering guidance. Ruth Nyagechanga, listening attentively to the client. Maureen Najala, help the learner to know who she is. Again, Damaris Kimani, acting as a role model, direct learners to positive direction. That is from Said Guracha Abduba. Anoduya, offering assurance to the learners. Rita Onyango to guide. Jeremiah Musebei. Link between the student and their parents. Wow. Susan Moigai, mentor and guide. Rebecca Batia, guide in subject selection. Jessica Sarange, helping the learners deal with issues. etc. Ikiwa kuna mtu kazi yake haiwezi elezeka, ni kazi ya mwalimu ambaye atumika kama counselor. Kazi yake ni nyingi. It's a lot of work. And all those things that you do, when you get to LMS check, what is it that you do? And my question of, can you hug a counselee? What would make you hug the counselee? What would be, where would we be for you to hug the counselee? Weigh the situation. If a hug makes the counselee move on, give it. If it makes the counselee akukwamilie, refrain. So the relationship you have with your counselee will tell you whether you can hug or not hug. Whether you shake hands or you don't shake hands. Check the culture of the person. Kuna wale ambao the respect iko, lakini hawezi kukupa mkono. Check where people are coming from. Check their beliefs. Before we reach that level, we are not sure of what we are doing. Another issue that comes in our area, that is in our module, it is discipline in the learning institution. And it's good to understand. The only thing we need to understand in this one is how we are offering discipline in our schools. Why someone is using guidance and counseling to replace corporal punishment? That is not true. They cannot, it is not true. What was the use of corporal punishment? Why would we say counseling is replacing it? And why don't we, why Why is corporal punishment, why was it banned in the year 2002 in the Kenyan schools? Let's find out. And so I'll not ask you this, guys. If I ask you, we are tunamaliza bado hivi too. So allow me not to ask this question. We continue with what discipline is all about. And we are saying that what the law says about punishment. Let's just remember that. Anyone telling you about corporal punishment, whether it's happening in your school or not, we know it should not be happening. So what does the law say about punishment? And for you and I, we are dealing with the learners. What does the law say about punishment? And you're saying that the Constitution talks about protecting every child from abuse, neglect, harmful cultural practices, all forms of violence, inhuman treatment and punishment, and exploitative labor. All these, that's enough. Remember, this is the supreme law of the land. So why should you give punishment to a child when the child is taken care of by the Constitution in Article 53? So just check that. Then check the Basic Education Act that came after the promulgation of the Constitution. What does it say? And what are the discipline procedures that are in it? Check. Then check the legal notice number 56 of 2001 that banned corporal punishment in schools in Kenya, and ask yourself, why was it done? So those are important things that we need to look at. And instead of punishing the learners, let's look at alternative forms of discipline in our schools. Positive reinforcement. We will not dwell much in this. Positive reinforcement. What is it that you would want to enhance in a learner so that you can get positive discipline? So that you can get the positive behavior you are looking for. Check from your school. What is it that you can give a learner? And they can leave the negative behavior they were exhibiting and take something positive. Guidance and counseling. Is it in our schools? Is it helping us? As part of reinforcing discipline, not replacing punishment. You cannot equate the two. It's about informing the learners on what they need to do to ensure we are enhancing discipline. Alternative punishments. What could be the alternative punishments that are not harmful to a child? What is it that you withdraw from a child for a negative behavior to cease? Or what do you give to a child to ensure that the positive behavior is maintained? Setting rules and expectations. This is the most important thing that we need to see. And it is also good for you to see, even if the Basic Education Act 2013 is talking about alternative forms of discipline, check their guidelines of the regulations of the Basic Education Act, those regulations of 2015. They explain more of how we are supposed to handle discipline in our schools. And explain this even to your head teachers and or principals. Let them know what the expectations are. And with all that, you look at the best one that works for you. That one will not repeat the positive discipline. Allow me not to go back to that. Adolescents' growth and development. This one, for now, this is what this is what is in our module. Even if in the review, we are going to bring child development because we want to see how does a child grow to the level of adolescence. So when you're dealing with this, we'll only deal with the adolescents, but also remember, you can also go further, look at the information on child development, child growth and development. So that by the time you're reaching where they are as adolescents, depending on the group you're teaching, you are able to work with this. And so the unit will be talking about development, intimacy, sexuality and reproductive health, and adolescence and morality. These are key issues with our adolescents. In fact, I'll say it in a nutshell. We don't have to go slide by slide. When we talk about development, the learners, watch it to odoe the name, the word adolescence. So we look at the learners. The learners you're handling in your class, they are at what developmental stage? Check that. All of us have done child psychology. They're at what developmental stage? So that at that developmental stage, what are the milestones that they need to surmount to move on? So by the time you're reaching at the level of adolescence, what does it mean? What does the adolescent development mean? What are the changes that they see? So that you as a teacher, you are able to take them through all this. And in this part, the whole part, remember, issues of counseling are deep in this area. But for you and I will still go back where we started from. What you have, what you know is what you give another person. Many people in growing up, especially in the African tradition, things to do with sex and sexuality were taboo. So many people grew up knowing what? Boy-girl relationship ni tabia mbaya. Kutoka utotoni. So even by the time you reached adolescence, ilikuwa tabia mbaya ambayo haizungumzwi mbele za watu. Information that's not supposed to be exposed to any other person. Now that you are an adult, who came back to tell you, hiyo tabia mbaya sasa imeacha kuwa mbaya, unaweza itenda. So you see the disparities that we have, the confusion that we have, such that you find that even you and I, at our age, we still have some issues of sexuality we've not been able to surmount. Then you're brought a case by Alana dealing with the same issues you've not been able to surmount, meaning, what do you tell them? We tell them what we know. So check yourself in this area of sexuality and reproductive health so that you know. Because what you have been able to surmount is what you can help another person surmount. If issue of sexuality to you up to today, bado ni taboo, ni tabia mbaya, that is where you leave it and our learners will go there experimenting, trying to see what is this one. So it is upon you as the teacher in the school to know where you are and what you can surmount. So at the start about their physical development, let them know. There are those who grow up very fast. There are those who grow very slowly. Those who grow very fast, if it's a girl, she's grown very fast during our time, they were feeling very uncomfortable. Today, the issue is not as bad as it was before. But if you grew very fast and you are a girl, you always felt that you were uncomfortable. And all of us, because of ignorance, we attributed a few things to somebody growing up very fast. For the boy, it was also different. Those who grew up physically very fast, they became the school leaders. Others became the bullies, people who are feared. So it was all different. How is it today, the physical development? How do they just start? Body image is a key to adolescents at this age. And we are told they are at stage. They imagine everyone is looking at them. Hata kama huwaoni, wao wanajua unawaangalia. And they can form stories about it. And this makes them do many things for them to feel comfortable, accepted, and feel that people are working with them socially, brain development, cognitive development, all that. We need to understand, we need to check. When you get the notes, you'll be able to read all these and you'll also be able to do a lot of these. Intimacy, what is it about intimacy? How do they start a friendship? How does that friendship change from a normal friendship to intimacy? What are the fears associated with this intimacy? Today we were talking as very good friends, we're just laughing around. The next time, I'm not even able to look at you in the face. Let them understand how this growth comes about and the reasons and what you need to do to take care of yourself. And also about friendship with the other sex. And again, dating and romance. Let's not just keep on telling them, you know, I don't refuse, let us tell the learners about when issues of sexuality comes in, the issues of sex come in, issues of intimacy come in. We keep on telling them, abstain, abstain, abstain. Do we explain to them why they need to abstain? We need to give this information. I'm not saying we teach sex education, but let them know These changes are coming. These are the feelings that come with it. You get attracted to the person of the opposite sex. How far can you go with this relationship? Let's give them information such that when it reaches that level, they have information and they can make an informed choice. And this also brings us to the issue of the youth at risk. The youth are at risk. And the risk that they are handling now, for them, mostly it's about sexuality issues. And there are many, they are key, they're the ones that drive them. Let's talk about that. Look at your area, your community, your school. Are the youth there at risk? How much do they know about their sexuality? What information have you given them? When we are telling them to abstain, are we telling them the reason? And it is a new generation, are we telling them the reason? Are we explaining? Are we explaining issues of pregnancy, that they affect a boy and a girl, not just a girl? It affects all of them. Issues of morals, etc. Remember, the youth have an issue with faith. Why? Many of them grew up in the faith of the parents. But when they reach the age of adolescence, they start questioning, why this and not this? They want to experiment with more churches. And you know, for us now, we put our foot down. But then it is always good to understand, how do they develop in the stages of their morality? The pre-conventional stages where we always with them. They are with parents all through, they know what you're doing. But the post-conventional stage brings in a lot. This is where they start questioning our faith. And it's good for us to know what religion means and the impact it has on them and their lives. Let's bring it in, let's talk about it. Those are the issues that are key in our lives, and they're the issues that you will see in our module. Crisis and trauma, they're issues that are with us. Even without going to the notes, it is good to know that traumas are there, crises are there. The first step we do is check around our areas. What is the crisis that we are likely to get? Check in your school with your learners. What is the crisis you can get? And you know, when crisis is not settled well, it traumatizes the learners. For example, let's say there are floods in our school. It becomes a crisis. But once it affects the learning stops going on. It now traumatizes the learner. If it brings death, it traumatizes the learners more. And so it's good to take a check of where our schools are. What is it that you're likely to get? How do we intervene? How do we ensure it does not become a trauma? It doesn't become traumatic worse, or it doesn't become a disaster. And there are very many issues happening in our society, happening with our learners. And when we have a group of teachers who are able to talk to our learners, where they are able to offer them positive regard, unconditional positive regard, that it does not matter where you're coming from, it does not matter what you're going through, we are here for you. We will be in a position to check where they are coming from, the issues they have gone through with their family or also in the society, and how we are able to intervene before it becomes a trauma. So that we are able to see, how are we able to respond? So you got to know your learners. You got to know where they're coming from. You got to know even from their files. What are the underlying issues those learners are facing that no other person knows? But you are the people in guidance and counseling. or you're the people, the teacher charged with guidance and counseling. Understand the learners, understand the community, understand the school itself, understand what they've gone through. Because when we have issues happening in the family, happening around the community, and they are not dealt with well, eventually they develop post-traumatic stress disorder. And there are many things that can bring these. They can have a trauma. People think the trauma is gone. Something else happens. They become re-traumatized again. And so post-traumatic stress disorder comes in. And now this becomes a psychiatric case. It's good to know what are the things in your school. There's also youth aggression and violence. The violence happening in our schools, in our society, in families. Those are the crises that are going to bring trauma to all learners. Suicidal behavior. Find out what are the issues that are there. Yet we know what can be brought by, what can bring about suicide, what can make one die of suicide. It could be from their genes. It could be from the environment. It could be something happening in, very fast and nobody else had even noticed. Could use of drugs that has brought this. It's always good to know, because this is a disease like any other disease, and the bad thing with it is that it is very final. Once one has died, it's died. Self-care. How do people take care of themselves? What are the skills that we have for self-care? So it's good we look at that, it's good to remind ourselves of that. And these are notes that you read, that notes that you'll go through and see what is it. All these situations, check with your learners, check with the other teachers, check with your neighbors. Could something be happening that can cause a crisis or can cause a trauma that can re-traumatize the learners? And also check what are the interventions that you've put in place. Many schools have guidance and counseling. People think that is not a very big step. That is the biggest step that we have in our schools. Someone who is there to talk to the learners and listen to the learners. Something that we have. And these are some, you can tell someone has undergone a trauma and it is being re-traumatized again, or the trauma is coming back, is some of these could be someone re-experiencing the trauma, memories of what had happened, nightmares, flashbacks. People start seeing what was there. Sometimes something happens. People are talking about an incident that happened and someone becomes numb. They cannot move, or they become detached. They don't want to be part of that. Other times they have increased arousal. Insomnia, you're not able to sleep. Irritability, impaired concentration, hypervigilance, etc., etc. Others, they just detach themselves. They have no emotions. Whether positive or negative, they have no emotions in what is happening around them. Even when you mention it, they have nothing to talk about. Courses are many, we will not go through the courses. Even now when we tell you, just check your school. What are the causes of any traumatic stress among the children or adolescents in your school? What? You just check what is happening around you. Even at this moment, what are things that can stress learners? Learners in Form 4 now, I know they are stressed. Mitihani imefika. Learners in grade 9 are not, they are stressed. What are the pathways? What are the tracks? What are the schools we are going to go to? How will boarding school be for those who will go to boarding school? Many things. Just check your community, check your area, and see how you can come in to assist the learners. There are many treatments that can be there. One is psychiatric medication, and this one only happens after a diagnosis has been done by a psychiatrist, according to the DSM-4. That says, I think 5 now. 5, yeah, 5, 7th edition. It talks about grouping of areas and illnesses that can form a diagnosis that you require psychiatric help. Talking to the families, group therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, that talks about what is that you recognize cognitively, what is that you recognize, what is the behavior that you're exhibiting, how do we work with that behavior so that we can go to the root cause of the problem. Other issues that can bring trauma is youth aggression or violence. This one is happening. It is, many things can happen. Bullying, aggressive behavior, abusing alcohol and drugs, antisocial behavior, etc., etc. All these can happen. Colleagues, now I'm just about to add this. I think I'm also becoming tired, but I just need to mention a few of the things we need to look at. Peer counseling. Why do we require peer counseling? That's the only question we will deal with. Why do we require peer counseling in our schools? And I've gone back to the chart, and we are talking about why do we require it? Not what it is. What it is, we know who is a peer. Why do we require it? Why do we require peer counseling? I like a message here from James Jogu saying, we do not do hugs at our workplace. Imagine you hugging a student. You know the repercussions that can be there. Do you know the repercussions that can be there? Do you know the touch that you're supposed to give a learner? Thank you for bringing that one out. It's good for us to know what does the law say. Maureen Najala says, helps learners to learn from one another. It is true. It is true. Ezekiel Ogaya, to get support from each other. Makau Jane Kambua for opening up. Nanis Kari for effective counseling. Esther Mudhogu. Sometimes learners are able to open up to their peers easily. Oh yes, they are karaoke. Peers understand each other, true. JM, to give learners the confidence, to do what is affecting them. Rachel Abuti, the learners can feel free with one another. Morina Kuno, peers relate well with their challenges. Oh, true. Learners, Tresia Magio, learners understand each other better. Hey, open up, yeah. You might equal. You might understand me better than any other person. Rita Onyango, to help get directions on how to cope with each other. Jeremiah Musembei, to instill social skills among students to be able to solve their own challenges. Hilda Mwansido, their peers have gone through some of the issues. Marion Kenywa, to help learners to know themselves better. That is about self-awareness. It is easier, as you people are saying. It's sometimes even for us as teachers in the staff room, there are times it's easier to talk to your colleague than talk to a higher person, someone at a higher level, at a management level. So even for the learners, many times if it is about growing up, they are facing the same issues. If it is about adolescents' growth, they are facing the same issues. It would be easier for them to talk to each other, peer to peer. And so it is very important to have peer counseling in our schools, but the teacher of guidance and counseling, if you're the one looking for the peers, after you have got the peers, many times you get them from the other learners, they give you the names of students who are there free to talk to. Train your counselors, your peer counselors. Why? Because hawa ni watoto kama watoto wale wengine. And so they can discuss the issues of each other very easily. So you train them about not sharing the issues of the other learners among themselves. Train them to share with you the issues they are dealing with and what they are what they are facing they themselves as learners. Again, you cannot force them to keep confidentiality. They are underage. Hawa ni watoto. So you cannot say that whatever they hear, they cannot discuss with other people. So it's good to train them and train them well so that they can know the boundaries. They can also know what they can handle and also keep on checking on them throughout. Because some can go out of their way and they become the school counselors without your knowledge, and now they start holding series za watu, ni mimi ninajua. So you create another group of bullies who know my personal issues. They need to be trained. You need to understand what type of learners are you using as a peer counselors. They need to be trained and supervised. You need to be working with them through and through. Because it's important to have peer counseling. It is cost effective. You have more counselors. Self-esteem. There are those counselors in Apandaju. Accessibility. They're with the other learners throughout. It can be very effective. You can be able to get each and everything that's happening around the school, or it's happening with the other learners. It is also non-threatening. No one will be saying ulionekana ukiingia kwa counselor. It's so non-threatening. You just see learners talking to each other. Again, they can do a lot, and it is also quicker outreach. Check the persons you're using as your peer counselors, someone who talks to other people, someone who can be trusted, someone who is secure, someone who have good qualities that other people can admire. People whom people who are likable can make very good counselors. If you do not have a peer counseling program in your institution, start one. And when you find the issues that are coming in are issues that they can be able to handle, let them handle. But let them tell you how they're handling them and where they are. Don't create another center of power. Ensure they are well trained and supervised, that they give you reports throughout so that you know what is happening. And to finish it up, career guide. What do we say about career guidance? Talk to the learners at Form 4. Let's start with Form 4. We have learners starting to do their exams. Do they didn't know the careers they want to get into? You and I, we know this time, just get to a class and ask them what they want to do, and you'll hear what they want to be. One will want to be a politician, a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer. There's this, the other issues that are making them very popular. They want to be musicians, etc., etc. You and I, as teachers of guidance and counseling, you might find that we're also doubling up as the teachers in charge of career guidance. And so it's good for us to understand all the clusters. I'm not talking to the teachers in Form 4, the teachers who are handling Form 4s. We need to understand all the clusters for all the careers from COOPs so that we advise them well. Let's not have a doctor at D. Let us talk to them about being realistic in their career choices. Give them information. Talk about careers that people are not talking about. Talk about going to TVET institutions. Talk about skills. Let them not be as old-fashioned as Grace, who thinks that after Form 4 you go to the university. No, let them know what is there. For those with learners at grade 9, talk about the career pathways. Talk about STEM subjects, the social sciences, the sports. Talk about all this. Let them know the pathways and the tracks and what they lead you into being. Let them understand that there are so many careers out there, but it will depend on the pathways that they take. Let them understand where the government is at this moment. When we talk about 6% of the learners going to STEM subjects, whether it is real or not real, let them know what it means when you're going to STEM subjects. Let them know about the course subject they're going to take at grade 10. Let's talk about all this. Let's talk about where the country is at the moment. Let's talk about growth and development. Let's talk about Vision 2030 and what the government wants. So all this, it is about giving them information on what they can do in the world of work or in their life tomorrow. Because we want to see what the labor market has, their lifelong learning goals, and what we need to bring about in inclusion. Let's talk about talent recognition of learners. And I know you and I, many of us, we have thought about the mini grade. If you are in grade in Form 4, you are still thinking about the mini grade. I know it is good. Because what else will show you have been working if it is not about the mini grade? Talk about it. Let's also talk about the talents our learners have. And even when you're talking about talent, let's also tell them the talent they have, where can it move them? And is it really a talent? Eco. And at primary level, school level, it's good to know that the learners show talent from very early. And they grow their talents depending on how we are encouraging them, how we are mentoring them, and how the system of education is, or even the people that they admire out there. So it's good to let them know. Let's check this. I know we have so many learners that we never get an opportunity to check what a learner can do. But let's do all that we can that is in our powers to recognize the talents that our learners have and also to be able to advise them on what is there. Let's also think about employability and talk about it. Not just about getting a job. They can also be self-employed. Let's talk about what is happening now. The emerging issues, the issues that have emerged, the use of AI. Let's talk about it. Let them know there are so many things out there that they can do. And also know they have a lot of talent that they can work with. Let's talk about it. And as we talk about it again, let's remember that as we give our learners help, as we give them guidance, as we move them from where they are to the next level, it is important that we show the direction. Let's do a bit. Hiyo kidogo tunayoweza kufanya inatosha. Because we want each and every person to have a meaningful life. Even you as a teacher, you need a meaningful life. Even me, I need a meaningful life. Because it's not about being rich, being popular, being highly educated, or being perfect. It's about being real. What is it that is on the ground? Be real, be humble, be strong. And for you and I as teachers, let us share ourselves with the others. We are touching many lives. Let's share ourselves with the others. That way, we can say that we will have a contented life because we will have done what God had given us in our lives and had given us to work with. You and I as counselors, the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. We still can improve. We still can move more. We still can do more. I have extended so much. I know I have moved more, I have taken longer time than was expected, but thank you so much because in a nutshell, that is module 8. When you get to the LMS, you will get these notes. And the assessment of this unit is so practical that you find yourself talking to the paper. It's not about how you're able to cram. It's about how able are you to apply all the skills you've gained in this module. Thank you so much, colleagues. Looking forward to meeting you again. I'm happy you are here, even if it was another meeting I took a bit longer. Choge took over everything, and I am returning it back to Choge, saying asanteni sana. Choge, karibu.
Thank you so much, Daktari, for that powerful presentation on guidance and counseling. And thank you so much, colleagues, for your participation. And maybe if there is any burning question, I'll only allow 2 questions only to Daktari, if there is any. Otherwise, I believe it was very clear. So I can see Cyrus. Cyrus has raised up his hand. Cyrus.
Hello.
Unmute your question.
First and foremost, I want to thank Daktari, especially taking us through that guidance. Some of us, at least, we have a rough idea of what we are supposed to do. My question I was supposed to ask yesterday concerning the exams that we are doing, Now that we are having online learning, can we also have online exam?
Okay, that one is noted. Thank you. I'll answer that. There is somebody else who had a question. Apart from Cyrus, another person, I'd seen Said. Yes, Said, you can unmute. Said? Said, just unmute. Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening, Said.
Okay, my question is,
Yes.
yes, hata naona tumemaliza tumefika model 8. So mtihani itakuwa ni lini?
Okay, I'll answer that.
Okay.
I'll answer that. Any other question, Director Dr.? Good, thank you. Let me respond. The two questions are more or less the same. That you still have a lot to do, and like now we are actually done with the module 8, but you realize that you have not actually worked on the module assignments. So start working on the module assignments. That will take you until when we will actually do. And I am very sure most of us have not even submitted the action-based research. So please let us work on that, as the management is also working on the logistics and the planning of examination. And the planning of examination, which will also, it will also be determined by the other activities in the Ministry of Education, because you realize that right now we have activities in the Ministry of Education that we cannot do another activity when that activity is actually going on. Priority is the exams for the learners. And unless we mark that exam and release, and then it will also be, we must actually give a priority to that. So I can see Elvis has raised his hand. Elvis, over to you. Elvis?
Thank you, Mr. Choge.
Yes.
I think the reminder would be as we finish.
Yes.
Please note that all of us should be able to access the virtual campus and finish up on our assignments, and also fee payment. But as we come to the end, we should be clearing our fees. Please note that even as we prepare to sit for exam, full fee payment will be required for you to sit for exam. So let's plan accordingly and clear our school fees. Otherwise, thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you, Elvis. And I want again to stress on what Elvis has said. Please make sure that you can access the LMS, because that is where we need you to post all your assignments and module 9, which is a standalone paper, which is marked out of 100. We want it to be posted onto the LMS. Let me still give Eunice Chege. Can I unmute? Eunice
Okay,
Chege?
hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear
Just to follow up on, the person who had asked before about if we can get the online exams, like can we do the exams online? So maybe see if it's possible, just following up on that.
Our exams is a sitting exam.
Okay.
The online assessment that we'll always allow is that we will give is the assignment, the module assignments, and you must actually complete that, and you post them to the
Okay.
element. Yeah.
All right.
So the exam
All
will
right.
be
Maybe as we're moving to the, like when we said in the innovation lesson yesterday.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying for future purposes, maybe in the future, you should also think about those people who would love to do it online as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Not now, in the future. It's just a thought for later on.
Okay. Thank you, Eunice. Colleagues, allow me, Madam Emily Kuto, if you are in, unmute and then you greet our participants.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Mr. Choge, unfortunately, she's not in. I'm suggesting the following.
Yes.
We can end the class, then we can leave those with questions to answer.
Exactly,
To ask, then we answer.
Yes, exactly. So let me request one of us to pray for us, and then we leave. For those who have burning questions, you can still remain. I'm still here with Elvis. So somebody to pray for us. We had Said praying for us. So let's have another person also to volunteer, a Christian this time. John Otieno, you want to pray for us? John, you can unmute and then you pray for us.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, John.
So, thank you for the presentation. Let us pray. Jehovah God, we want to thank you for the gift of life this evening. We thank you as well for the good facilitators that you have brought into our lives. We thank you as well, dear Lord, for this program, for it is in our aspirations and dreams that we get even educated further than this. Thank you for the provision of all this life and amenities that enable us to get all this facilitation reaching us from wherever we are. Dear Master, as we plan to have a similar session tomorrow, now guide us the right way, protect us throughout the night, give us a peaceful day tomorrow as you have always given. We trust upon your provisions, we trust in your love, so be our God still, for we hope for even better things than you have provided. All this we pray, trusting and believing in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you so much, John, for closing for us that session with a word of prayer. There is somebody who has actually said that he has a challenge in posting